Good evening, everyone. I am Kim Traffin, business and marketing coach, and tonight is the very first segment of Girls Talk Business. So tonight my guest is Molly, and I'm not exactly sure if I'm pronouncing her last name right. Kubes? I'm going to guess. So we're going to just wait a minute here until I know that Molly is on, Sorry, just making sure that my notifications were turned on. We're gonna wait a minute here until I know that Molly is on, and then I can invite her to join the live. So I'm really, really excited that tonight is the first segment. Oh, and it looks like Molly is on, so just bear with me a minute while I get Molly included. All right, bear with me here a minute. Oh, great, guys. Hang on, Molly. It's not letting me invite you to the live for some reason. What's going on here? There we go. Oh, great. All right. Guys, this is the strangest thing. I have invited many people to join the live. Molly, I might have to end this live and redo this because it's not allowing me to invite you to join. Comment if you have had this problem before, because I have not. It looks like it's just you and me on right now. This is so bizarre. All right, let's see here. Bear with me a minute. If somebody is watching and you've had this issue where you cannot invite somebody else, I'm gonna go on my Chromebook here real quick and see why I can't invite you to join my live, because this is gonna be a real burden to Girls Talk Business if I can't get my girl on here with me to talk business. Oh, good question, Molly. Can you get on your phone real quick and see? I'm not sure what device you're on right now, but when I go to add you, it doesn't let me add you. And Molly, I'm gonna think it must be the device you're on because I just checked. Thank you, Ellen, for saying hi. Hello, Ellen. And when I click on Ellen's name, it gives me the option to bring her on the live. So Molly, if you can jump on your phone a minute, I'm going to explain to everybody about Girls Talk Business. So if you're on here, you probably saw either my post or Molly's post. And the reason I wanted to start Girls Talk Business is because I think there is so much power in sharing our different journeys with each other. And I just think it's really important for women to come together, to connect with each other, to support each other. And in this day and age, and with all the things going on in the media, Kate Spade, Andy Bourdain, it's really unfortunate how often mental illness affects somebody's lives. And so many people out there deal with depression and mental illness and things like that. So this is my quick little PSA of, please, if you're struggling with mental illness and you have suicidal thoughts, reach out to somebody, call the 800 numbers, please get help. Now, for the other people that maybe don't deal with that type of thing, social media can still have a really big impact on our lives. And it's really easy when you are starting a business and you see everybody else on social media, and it sometimes can feel like, oh, they have it all together. Oh, it was easier for them because of insert X. They came from money, they had supportive parents, they are smarter than me, they're better looking than me. Like, we can look at these snapshots on social media and it always feels like other people have it easier than us, or have a quote unquote better life than us, or that their business is doing better than us. So I think it's really, oh, I'm gonna try to bring Molly on a minute here. That was it. Adding you. And we should see you in just a second here. Hey, yay! You're on, I'm so excited.
Awesome.
I was so confused there at first, so I'm glad that you thought that maybe it was the device you were on. Okay, I'm gonna get my volume turned up. All right, okay. So can you hear me okay?
I'm just having a little bit of trouble hearing you, so I'm just gonna go grab my headphones really quick. I'll be right back.
Yes. So I will continue chatting with the rest of you that are on a minute. So I wanted to start Girls Talk Business so that we can really kind of peel back those social media layers of always showing the best sides of ourselves. And it's really important that when you're building a business, especially building a business online, you do need to kind of put your best self forward, and people need to get to know you and who you are, and you need to look professional and put together. But that doesn't mean that seeing somebody's social media post of their business means that the journey was easy for them. And every single person that I know that has started a business or is in the process of starting a business, they have dealt with struggles. They have overcome obstacles. And some of them might be in their personal life, it might be in their business world. Maybe they had a partnership that fell through. Maybe they had funding fall through. There's all different struggles that people have when they're on their entrepreneurial journey. And so I felt like starting Girls Talk Business was a really great way to showcase other female entrepreneurs, learn what they do, learn about their business, and hear about their journey. Can you hear me okay now, Molly?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just having trouble hearing you because here, let me try one more thing.
I'm gonna put my headphones in too. Does it help you now that I'm on a mic?
Yes, it does.
Oh, good. All right. I will keep my earbuds in then so that you can hear me okay.
Awesome. Okay, hey everyone.
Yay! Welcome. Yes. See, and just to show everybody too, sometimes people are terrified to go live because they're worried that something will happen. That's okay if something happens. You just work through it. People understand and you figure it out.
I've had lives where my phone has died, where, someone comes to the door and, I've had everything happen, basically.
Yes, or if a phone call starts coming through when you're on your phone. My dad started calling me one day and I was like, exit out. Sorry, whoops.
Hey, Andrew.
It happens.
Hey, Kat. How's it going, everyone? Thanks for
tuning
in.
I'm so glad you guys are joining us. If you're joining us, please take a minute, and Molly and I will review the comments afterwards. We might comment on some during it, but let us know where you're watching from. That is one of the most beautiful things about the internet, is the amazing reach that you can have, and you can connect with people literally around the world. So I love seeing where people are watching from. If you catch the replay, tell us that you're watching the replay. I have my most beautiful mom mug from my boys that I have my lemon tea in tonight. So if anybody has a special drink that they joined us with, let us know. If you're a tea fan, a coffee fan.
Yay.
I love it. So Molly, tell us about your business. And am I even saying it right? Is it Reiki? Is it Reiki?
Yeah, you said it right. Reiki. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Can you talk a little bit about that? Tell us what you do, and then from there we'll get into kind of your journey and how long you've been doing this. And you have a really, really interesting story. I know you have it on your website. After this too, Molly will drop all of her social media links. I'm sure she's willing to do that so that everybody can, follow her on Instagram, check her out on Facebook, check out her website. So yeah, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so my journey started probably about 8 years ago, and for me, it came about in a really interesting way. I used to be really into binge drinking and partying. That was kind of what my life revolved around. That was my main thing, and it started to get to a point for me where it wasn't fulfilling anymore, and it was actually the opposite of fulfilling, where it started to cause some damage in my relationships. It started to cause some damage to my physical body, and it started to cause some damage to my mental, emotional body. And what happened was there was this moment where things had gotten so bad that I decided I literally went onto my knees and I prayed and I prayed for some help. And it was the first time where I actually really took the time to dive deep into prayer and into my spirituality, and I asked for help. I just really humbled myself. I didn't have any other way to reach out and ask for help. I felt like there wasn't really anyone that I could talk to, and so I just decided to ask God, basically. And what happened was I ended up getting really sick. I ended up getting some major digestive issues, and my body really started to reject a lot of processed foods and things like that. This happened really quick. And I couldn't continue on that path, that lifestyle. And from there, I ended up being like, okay, something needs to change. I can either continue down on this path or I can choose healing. And I'm so grateful that I chose the healing route,
Yes.
because what happened was yoga just kind of fell into my lap. I was literally living right beside a yoga studio. It was just a few steps away. And I took my first yoga class, and it was so amazing. I was like, this is it. I love this. This is amazing. And I ended up, I don't even know how I stumbled upon Reiki. I was on a Reiki website. I ended up learning Reiki before I ever even received a session. And for those of you that don't know, Reiki is a Japanese method of energy healing. And it was just something I instantly connected with. It was something my soul said yes to. It just knew that that was something that I needed. And I didn't really have any intention of teaching it at the time. It was mostly for me. It was something that I needed that really, really helped. I had instant results. I instantly felt more calm, centered.
Oh,
And it was
yes.
just something that I knew helped me. And then after about a year, I decided that I wanted to become a yoga teacher, and I wanted to start teaching yoga, and I wanted to even learn more about Reiki and start to teach Reiki. And so then I ended up going on that path. And it's really amazing how now we're talking about business, because a few years ago, I decided to really go for my business full time. And I quit my job. I quit a lot of regular teaching jobs as well. I actually got fired from one of my jobs the day that I quit my job. It was like this big cosmic joke. The
Yes.
universe being like, okay, now's the time.
We're going to push you into it. If you're not going to leave
Yeah.
yourself, we'll push you into it.
At the time, I didn't see it as hilarious, but now I see it as
Yes.
funny. And then I ended
Yeah,
up,
I'm sure it was a little upsetting getting fired, even though you didn't, you wanted to
Yeah.
move on with your business, but it is still, and I think you hear that so often from people who lose a job. Like, at the time I was mortified, embarrassed, whatever
Yeah.
emotions they attach to it. But then looking back, they're so grateful that it happened.
Yeah, definitely, because it just gave me more space and more drive to really go for what I wanted. And
Yes.
I was talking to someone the other day about this, and I just find this so hilarious. Is when I decided to become an entrepreneur, when I decided to really go for my business and to spread these gifts of healing that have helped me, when I decided to really go for that, that was a deeper awakening for me and a deeper journey of self-empowerment and love and spirituality. It was a deeper spiritual awakening than me, pivoting from a party lifestyle into spirituality.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, because it was so powerful and so healing, because I really had to believe in myself. I had to completely trust. I had to completely let go. I had to just tune into what the universe wanted and was guiding me to do, and really listen to my intuition and just really go for it. And that was a huge awakening. It still is, really understanding what is my purpose on this earth. What am I meant to share? What is going to support me financially? What is also going to serve the planet at the same time? How can I find, that inner jewel and really be of service on this earth? And
yes.
Yeah, and it was just a huge awakening. So that's
and I think that's something that
I
think that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs, I think that can be a big part of their journey when they're launching their business. Especially, I know a lot of women that know they want to launch a business, but they don't even know in the beginning what they want to launch. They just know they're not happy working their 9 to 5, or, maybe they're stay-at-home moms and they love staying home with their children, but they want something else too, to feed a different part of their soul. And really trying to figure out what that golden jewel is, where that zone of genius is, what it is you are intended to do in this huge planet. How are you making your difference? How are you leaving your mark on the world? I think a lot of people, it can be a journey working through that to figure out what it is you feel like you're meant to do and how you're meant to serve other people. It can take some real inner work
Definitely
to really figure that out.
Yeah. And I started to develop this 4-pillar process on how you can find that out. And one of the pillars is passion. And I've been diving deep into what is passion? Why are we passionate about things? And I know for me, I'm so passionate about yoga, Reiki, holistic wellness because I went from a place that was so opposite of that. And
Mm-hmm.
those tools help me heal so deeply. So it's like being on the other side of the spectrum and moving to another place. I feel like it's that dualistic nature of becoming one. That's kind of where our passion lies. It's like something when we start from one place and we can move to the other. It's kind of honoring our struggle. That's where I feel like a lot of
Yes.
our passion comes from, is that struggle. So if there's a struggle that you have overcome successfully, I feel like that's typically where your purpose lies, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yes. Oh, I completely agree. And I've shared some of my story like with my email list. But like for me, it was a little bit of a different journey because it wasn't like a struggle that I personally endured. But the reason that when I launched my business, the reason that I really wanted to focus on helping female entrepreneurs and not just work with everybody is because I did have a friend that was murdered in an act of domestic violence in 2010. And
Wow.
I dove into raising awareness about domestic violence. Like that was kind of my therapeutic way of healing and working through this tragedy that,
Wow.
somebody close to me and my circle of friends had experienced. And so then I became really involved in, um, helping out, women's rights and supporting women. And so when I sat down and really started to think about what business I wanted to start, like I just knew my passion was supporting women. I wasn't sure what other piece I was going to add into it, but it's that, at one point I was here in my pain and then I'd worked myself here. And a lot of that working through it was through my work with our local domestic violence shelter and speaking engagements and just immersing myself in that environment and raising awareness. So I knew that because I had gone from here to here, I knew supporting women was something that I was incredibly passionate about.
That's
So I
amazing.
completely agree with you on that. And I
Yeah,
think people do have to get to, if it's something painful that they've been through, I do think you have to be at um, a certain point in your healing process before you can kind of look at that objectively. And, if I burst into tears every time I said that statement still that I had a friend murdered, I wouldn't be far enough in the healing process yet to be able to talk about that piece of my story. I think people have to be at a certain point in their healing before they can really look at that objectively and think about it in
definitely.
terms of their passion.
Yeah. Like if I'm in the middle of my healing journey with something, that's not necessarily the purpose that I need to be focusing on right now. It's like, as
Yeah.
in, it's me offering those gifts to the world. It's more I need to focus on that for me to really heal. But if I've overcome something, if I've overcome that struggle, then that's something that I can really offer. Like I can offer someone who's a few steps behind me. And any of you who are watching, you have so much to offer. If you've overcome like that major, major struggle, there's something that you can offer someone who's just a few steps behind you, who's still in that like struggling mode.
Yes, so often. And I do think this is more something that women do more frequently than men. Um, we downplay our strengths. And if we as women know something really well, then just everybody must know it. And it's not something that's worth sharing because we often downplay our strengths and we downplay how important it is, the knowledge that we have. So I love that because I always say that too, like you are perfectly qualified to serve the person that's half a step behind you. If you know more than somebody else, then your gifts are worth sharing and that
Yes,
knowledge is important to them. You don't have to be at this phantom expert level, however you may think you define that. You don't have to be at this phantom expert level to be able to help other people.
definitely. Yeah, and I always say like it's more of a disservice for us not to share that light than it is for us to hide
Yes.
away and be like, oh, I don't know if I'm enough. Like you were saying,
Yes.
like if you're a few steps behind someone or ahead of someone, there's so much that you can help that person with, and it's more of a disservice for you to hold that back than for you to
Mm-hmm.
to stay in that small self and be like, I don't know if I can do this, if I should do this, if I'm enough. Offering that wisdom, that advice is so valuable you know?
Yes. And in every aspect of life, I think like you hit the nail on the head with that. Am I enough? It comes into the business. It comes into the marriage. It comes into parenting. So I feel like in every aspect of our lives as women, we question if we're enough. Are we enough in that situation? Are we enough for our partner, our spouse, whoever it may be? And I think it's something that a lot of people struggle with, especially women. I do think, I don't know why, but a lot of men I know don't struggle with that. They just come in and they're like, here I am.
For sure.
Don't you want to hear what I know? Like for some reason, it just seems to be different.
I mean, we were just allowed to vote in like the 1900s or
like hello.
Like we still struggled with being seen as equal, and I feel like it's like that. It's in our ancestors, it's in our DNA almost, and we are in a place now where we can really break free from that and really stand in our power and be seen for who we are, and to let go of those feelings of not feeling enough, to let go of that small self and to really step into our light and step into our greater self.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. So talk a little bit more about your business. What type of services do you offer is it in-person sessions? Do you do things online? Like I'm kind of curious how it works.
Well, I used to do a lot of in-person sessions, and recently my whole business pretty much is online, and I do some international retreats in Hawaii.
Oh, cool.
Which is amazing. And
because you're in Canada, you said, right?
Yeah, right now the island that we're doing on, the volcano's like erupting right now, so I don't have anything planned for this coming year, but might do it on a different island. I've kind of been wanting to do it on a different island anyways. But so I do online one-on-one coaching, and I have some group programs, and I have some smaller programs as well. So it's kind of like intimate one-on-one coaching over a longer period of time. I find that the greatest transformation happens after the 3-month period, and normally that's when the breakthrough really happens. So it's like really helping these people overcome. Sometimes we have these big breakthroughs and we're like, yeah, it's all good, I had this breakthrough, but it's like sometimes you still need that support after you come down off of that high. And so I work with people over a longer period of time now, which I find to be so rewarding, and it's just really, really amazing to do that. I used to just do one-on-one sessions here and there, but now really working with people over a longer period of time, it's just the transformation is just so amazing, and I absolutely love it. So
that's so awesome. Yeah. So with a Reiki session, are you familiar with tapping?
Yes.
So we did, when my oldest was in first grade, he still wet the bed, and he was in karate at the time, and Sensei had said like, hey, there was some certification that he got for tapping. And he said, I would love to try a session with Caden to help him. Good thing he's not watching this. He'd be horrified that I just shared that publicly, but he's in 5th grade now. He's long past this. So anyhow, we did a tapping session, and that was the first time I had ever heard of tapping. I had never heard of it before his sensei told me about it. And it was the most mind-blowing thing to me. After 2 sessions, he stopped wetting the bed.
Oh, wow.
Like that. It was crazy.
Wow.
It was absolutely crazy. And it was one of like the coolest things. So like my son and I sat in the room together, and he had us both go through and do the tapping and the positive affirmations and things like that. And I was honestly a little skeptical, like I don't get how this is going to make him stop wetting the bed, right? Like I was willing to try anything, and I felt so bad because he was at the age where he was getting embarrassed about it and didn't want to sleep over at friends' houses and things like that. But I was skeptical, so I tried it. And when he woke up that next morning and his pull-up was virtually dry, I was like, no way.
Wow.
And it was, I don't know, but so I remember we had to drink a ton of water during that. Like with a Reiki session, do you have to drink a ton of water and be like super hydrated for that too, like with the tapping?
I'd say after the session, I typically recommend that you drink a lot of water because you're detoxing energetically, and water just helps you detax,
Flush it out. Almost like getting a massage. How you have to all those toxins come out of your muscles.
A glass of water prepared. Like if someone's coming over for a session.
he gave us like a bottle of water, and I think we had to drink, like, I think we drank most of the bottle of water during the session, and then we had to like drink more. I just remember it felt like a ton of water, especially for this little 7-year-old to drink. But it was so cool. It really opened up my eyes to some of these different practices because I just hadn't been exposed to them before. So I just didn't know much. And like acupuncture still, like, I don't think I could get myself to try it because the needles, it just looks terrifying to me. It's a total mental thing. That's why I don't ride roller coasters either.
I really like acupuncture. It's very similar to Reiki too because they're using certain meridian points. I don't know that much, but I feel like because I have this Reiki training, I'm very sensitive to energy, and so I can feel like the meridians like being activated, which was really cool for me when I had my first acupuncture experience. I was like, wow, everything is vibrating. And these are not vibrating needles. So.
Yes. For you guys watching us, drop in the comments. I would love to know if any of you have tried, if you've done Reiki. Do you say done it? Do it?
Or received it.
Received it. Thank you. Yeah. I feel like that's what I know.
Yeah.
I don't know my lingo. I would love to know if anybody has. If anybody has tried tapping for you or your children, I would love to know if you've tried that too and if you had any success with it. I just find this stuff fascinating. So, and did I hear you right? Do you also do you do group programs also? How do group programs work?
Yeah, well, so I have a few different programs. One of them is called From Stress to Blessed, and this is primarily healing. It's like only healing. It's working with yoga, meditation, Reiki, and education. So it's working through the different the different chakras, which are the 7 main energy centers in the body. So that's one group program, and then the other one that I have is called Passionately on Purpose, and this one is really awesome.
I love that.
We do the healing work first, and then the second part of the program is all about taking action. So how I discovered for myself, one of my deepest awakenings was when I actually started to take action and become a leader in my community and to share these gifts that have helped me. That was so transformational, me being able to share that. So now this program is for people who want to kind of take it a step further and start to offer their gifts to the world. So that's kind of how it works.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I find like,
so are your group programs like the 3-month long too, or are those shorter?
They're 3 months, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
I think like something that can really be added in the business world is more of this inner work, more of this self-empowerment, more of this mindset. I mean, mindset's huge, but it's deeper than just mindset. It's kind of getting to the root of some of these traumas that can hold us back, that keep us playing small, and I think this is why I love business so much, is because it gives me an opportunity to really put these practices into action in a more human experience. And I think that if more business owners, more people who are entrepreneurs, if they could really learn these inner practices, it would really expand everything, because it was really cool, like even just expanding your energy, I think will really, really help your business, because you're opening yourself up to greater, bigger possibilities just by learning to expand your energy. And
so what does that mean, to expand your energy?
I guess first you would have to root down. So you'd have to be able to connect to the earth, because like in order to really, really expand, we have to be rooted, because otherwise we're going to burn out, because you have to have like an energetic conduit throughout the body basically. And then from there, it's like we have this energy body all around us. Like we are vibrating as cells. We're made up of energy, so we have an energy field that is kind of like, we can't really see it with our eyes. Like some people can really see auras. I actually taught myself how to see auras. It's not actually that hard. It's pretty easy. And it's about being able to kind of expand that, and it expands naturally when you're living your truth, when you're living authentically, when you're speaking your truth. It expands naturally when you're in a vibration of love. It expands naturally when you're healthy. If you have like various health stuff, like it could be like a little bit smaller in certain places. And then being able to expand is having the willingness for yourself to actually expand it. And for me, I've been doing energy work for almost 10 years, so it's kind of something I do all the time. But if you even just want to try just standing with your feet firmly on the ground, especially outside in the grass, and just bringing your arms up nice and wide, and then just like think about yourself, especially your heart, really expanding. Because a lot of the times we walk around and we close our hearts. Like I was walking down the street the other day, and so interesting because no one looked me in the eye. Everyone like looked away, and they were like not wanting, like looking down instead of like being open to connect and say hi. And that when we look away, we're shutting down our energy body, we're shutting down our heart. So, you know, just being able to really open your heart, being able to open yourself to the infinite possibilities that life is just waiting to offer you, you know, and it's kind of like a mindset. It's also a physical expression, and it's an energetic expression, and the willingness to not only expand, but the willingness to receive as well.
Yes. Oh, that's so awesome. I love it. And you know, there's something too. What is it called? Is it in the Japanese? Is it the Japanese culture that has, like, they believe in like the therapy from being around the trees, and like walking through the woods provides, like, feeds your soul in a different way and provides this different type of there's I was just reading something about it like maybe a month ago, and I can't remember. I think it was, if anybody knows, please drop right now and tell me if you know, if you read what I read, if you know what I know. And I can't think of the name,
sounds
but it's
amazing.
yes, and you think about it, like, we have property that's a couple of hour and a half north of our house, and so it's like middle of the woods on a lake, and you go up there and you don't see anybody else. And it does, when you go up there, cell phones don't work great, you know, the kids can't be on electronics, and we just sit in the woods or go out on the lake and fish, and you feel so energized when you leave from that type of situation.
Yes.
As opposed to even like relaxing on your couch at home. It doesn't feel the same as getting away and outside and being in nature. And I think it opens you up just in those settings too, even if you're not consciously like trying to open yourself up, like you talk about with expanding your energy.
Yeah.
But I think just being out there and connecting with nature and being out in the woods and the lake and the water and the streams, like it's therapeutic in its own.
So amazing. Yeah, nature is one of our greatest healers. It just reminds us of who we are, that we can be just our purest essence without having to try. Like a tree isn't trying to be anything else, you know. A tree is just vibrating, and it's just the representation of vitality of itself, just being itself. It doesn't need to be or do anything. It just is, and it just reminds us that we can just be, you know.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So what kind of do you have an offer on your website right now? I was just going to pull up your website. Do you have a freebie offer out on your website?
I actually have an offer that I am going to be launching on Monday. And
exciting.
But I decided that I wanted to offer it at the end of this video because just for anybody who tunes in, and it's a free training, and I'm so excited about it. It's basically what I was talking about before, is diving into the 4 pillars of purpose. And if you want, I can explain it a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
so
I was just jotting down notes, which is
really
why I wasn't looking up for a minute.
Because I went on a business mastermind with some ladies in California, and I just channeled this stuff. It just came through, and it's just, I'm so excited to offer it to everyone. And it's basically a free video training, and I'm so excited about it because it breaks down these 4 different pillars to help you uncover what your soul's mission, your soul's purpose is. And basically, sometimes we get stuck in one or the other, and we don't really know how we can incorporate all of them. So basically, in this training, I teach you how all of them intersect and how that will really help you uncover like what to focus on. And basically, the first one is passion, which we already kind of talked about. It's like, what are you passionate about? What gives you that zest for life? For me, you know, typically it's related to a struggle that you've overcome. So, you know, for me, like one of my passions is yoga and meditation because it helped me so much with the lifestyle that I was previously on. And then the next one is pleasure. So what actually really feels good for you, and knowing that you are deserving to live a life that feels good. You know, a lot of us, we feel we need to work a job that we hate because, you know, we feel that's what we need to do, when really our life's purpose is just to feel good. For me personally, that's what I like to believe. Knowing that that's totally possible, you know, and to find the pleasure in the present moment, and the more present that you are, the more pleasure that you can receive. And then the next one is prosperity. So something that you can be paid for, because the more income that you can make, the more of an impact you can have on this earth. And then the final one is prayer. So how can you connect to the divine in your sacred service? And, instead of letting your ego navigate the show, that inner voice in your head, you can let me know if you know what I'm talking about in the comments, that voice that's telling you what to do, when to do it. It's like, what about our soul? Our soul's essence. What about that voice of the divine that is inside of us, that has that soul's mission, that is guiding us? And if, it has all the answers. Our ego doesn't need to figure out all the answers. So we can really connect to that sacred prayer, that connection to God, source, creator, the divine, whatever you connect to. If you can really connect to that, and if you can connect all of those pillars, then that's your purpose right there. That's something that you can be paid for. It's something that's going to feel good. It's something that's going to be of service. It's a really, really powerful process. So I'm super excited to offer that, and I'll post that in the comments.
Yes, that is so amazing. And so how long, if you provide that, is that like how long would somebody work with you for that free training? Is that something that you actually talk with them about then? Is it like a phone call that you do?
Oh, it's all a 4-video series.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you just have to sign up, and then each day, I think every other day, you'll get a new video in your inbox. And I'm just going to walk you through it. I have this whiteboard, and I just kind of talk about the 4 pillars. And I also talk about in that video,
I love that prosperity as part of it too, because I think so many people, men and women, but I just think so many women struggle with wanting to get paid for what they are helping people with. I think that can be a big hurdle for people to get over when they're starting their business, is that they don't think they should charge.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and that's why I put that in there, because that was actually one of my biggest struggles. Like, it was really hard for me because I was in a very spiritual field, and it's like the people who are prized are the ones who don't get paid, who do it absolutely free, and it's like, oh, this person's doing it by donation, so they must be more spiritual and all this stuff. But I think it's really important for us in this new modern era to receive the value that you put out, to also receive value for that as well. And like I said before, and this was something I really had to come into, was the more income that you make, the more of an impact that you can have. And that's really exciting if we're in a heart-centered place and we're bringing in income, doing something that we love. The amount of change that we can create on this earth is so powerful, and that's really, really exciting. Yeah,
it is. And I think it's important to think about the impact kind of externally on the world, but also internally for like your life and your family, and what opportunities can you provide for your loved ones.
That's very true too.
It is wonderful to make an impact on other people, but sometimes you find these entrepreneurs that are shortchanging their own family because they're giving away so much for free, and they don't feel comfortable charging, and they think that they're making a bigger impact on more lives by doing that, when really they're shortchanging their loved ones and the opportunities that they could provide, whether it's their siblings or their parents or their children, whoever that is. But it is important to think about the impact that you're making on those loved ones' lives also.
That is so true. And if we could really have that heart-centered focus on just the ones that are in our physical awareness, if everybody had that mindset, like, we would really be able to raise the vibration of the planet just by focusing on that small community that we have within ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm so excited about that training that you're offering.
Yeah, I'm so excited too.
Yes, make sure that you share the link to that, and we'll share all of your social media profiles and get some people connecting. One of my biggest hopes for doing this Girls Talk Business series is that we can just open up more communication among more female entrepreneurs to really peel back those layers and see what people have gone through, because it's not always an easky journey. And I was just chatting with another woman that sent in her application, and I was just chatting with her yesterday, and she said something along the lines of, I didn't have that fairy tale childhood, or something. And we started talking about how I don't know anybody. Maybe I can think of one person that maybe appears like they had the fairy tale childhood. But I mean, it seems like everybody's dealt with something in their lives that has been traumatic in some way, shape, or form. And it may have been as a child, it may have been as an adult. There's all different things, but nobody has had a happy life 100% of the time. And every single circumstance that we have, every single experience, it all imprints on our hearts and our souls and our minds and our bodies, and we carry that with us. So I think it's really important to hear, somebody's journey like yours. And I think so many people can relate to being young and binge drinking, and you think that you're having a good time and that you're not hurting anybody, and you don't really realize how those actions do affect other people.
Definitely. And even yourself, like for me, I still have working through digestive stuff, but I was thinking the other day of how much of a gift it was, because it just like made me really focus on healing, a healing journey, a healing path. And I'm really grateful for that, because I feel like it's just going to actually benefit me long term, having that as a number one priority. But I think that's so amazing that you're creating that community of women. And I think, sisterhood is really important. And I think so many women can relate, where we feel like we're competing against each other, and we feel like we have to be the best, and we don't have those authentic relationships with our sisters. And I think it's so important, and I think what you're doing is amazing, just creating that community.
Thank you.
Women supporting each other and growing together, and like that's what we need.
It is more support, relationships, connections.
Yeah.
And I think even sometimes, like with that sisterhood, sometimes as women, we don't even mean it to be like degrading or harmful to somebody else, but we're degrading and harmful to ourselves. It goes back to that, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough. Look at how many followers she has, or look at all the engagement on her post, and I got one like on my post, or like there's just this constant, I don't know if competition is the right word, but so often we degrade ourselves over what we see other people doing online. So I think it's so important to just come together and support each other and have those conversations of different things that we've all dealt with to get to where we are today.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, someone said, I think it was Jenna Kuchar, I don't know if you know, she has the Gold Digger podcast.
Yes. Okay, yes.
She had this thing that I was like, yes, this is it. It was that she likes to focus on community rather than competition. And I was like, that's way more fun.
Totally. So I would love to, we're almost at time here, but I would love to know, so you mentioned her podcast. Are you only a podcaster? Are you an audiobook? Do you read regular books? And what would you say is your top fave? Like if you had to say, okay, I have one recommendation, what would you pick? Book, audiobook, podcast, and who or what would it be?
Well, in regards to business?
Yeah, give me both. If there's business, give me both.
Okay, I have two actually. Well, one of them, if you're looking for a really amazing business podcast, especially with online marketing, it's Online Marketing Made Easy with Amy Porterfield. And my mentor, Akira Palme, she also has an amazing podcast. I don't think she's doing it anymore, but that was called the Passionate and Profitable Podcast.
Cool.
But anyways, Online Marketing Made Easy was an amazing podcast when I was first getting started, because the online world, especially if you're in this industry, it's like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff to know. And you get overwhelming. It's a big test for your patience.
Yes.
And that was
definitely
really valuable for me. And
awesome.
And this one isn't like a podcast, but I recently went to my first live event, like live business event. And it was Experts Academy with Brandon Bouchard, and we were dancing, we were jumping,
fun.
And I was like, this is it. I love this. We're talking about business stuff, we're dancing, and we're jumping, and this is great. So
what amazing energy.
Going to live events too, because I never even considered going to live events, but I got a free ticket, and it was the best thing ever.
It is so different going to a live event, and actually like meeting people face to face, and the energy is it's just different at a live event. Now, I haven't been to like that one, but some of the events that I've gone to locally here, a lot of the, I don't know, kind of the cool new women's groups in town, like it's not like going to the Chamber of Commerce for, a luncheon, and today we will have, it's like super fun and hors d'oeuvres and music, and I love the live events too. I think it's a different type of energy than what you have with online things. It's just it's just a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah, so much fun.
That's awesome.
So much fun.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being my very first segment on Girls Talk Business.
Yes.
And it was so wonderful to have you on here.
Thank you.
And I will I'll get this posted after we end the live here. I'll get it posted, get the description in, and then if you can make sure to drop in your social media links and the link to your training. And then whoever is excited and ready to connect with you can do that, can download your free training. I'm going to go check it out. I'm super excited about it. If you're not connected with me, please check out, you must have found my business page, I would think, if you're watching us live right now. Feel free to like and follow my page. Next week's segment on Girls Talk Business is going to be at the same time slot again. It is going to be another 5:30 time, but going forward after that, it'll be a 4:30 Eastern time. I am in Michigan, and I think we said, but I'm not sure now, that Molly is in Canada. So again, share where you're watching from. Share if you've tried Reiki. If you have any suggestions for us on other audiobooks, podcasts, live events, we love it all. So thank you again, Molly. I appreciate you so much. It's been so wonderful to get to know you and hear your story.
Awesome. Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye.